All right, folks, we got some fresh tea on the upcoming Harry Potter TV series from HBO, and this time, it's all about casting. Some big names are being thrown into the mix, and let's just say, people have opinions. We're talking about Snape, McGonagall, and Dumbledore, major players in the wizarding world. So, if you love a little casting drama and want to stay updated on this series, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Let's get into it. Paapa Essiedu as Snape. So, first up, let's talk Snape, because this one is shaking things up. Paapa Essiedu is reportedly finalizing a deal to take on the role of Professor Severus Snape, originally played by the late, great Alan Rickman. Now, this is where things get spicy. First off, in the Harry Potter books, Snape is described as having sallow, pale, yellowish skin, greasy black hair, and a hooked nose. Alan Rickman's portrayal in the movies leaned heavily into that description. Some purists argue that Essiedu's casting strays too far from this original depiction, which can be jarring for fans who are deeply attached to the book's descriptions. One thing HBO seems to be doing is making this version of Harry Potter more diverse, something that started with Hermione being played by Noma Dumezweni in Cursed Child. We're seeing more inclusive casting across fantasy franchises. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power did this too when Amazon introduced black elves and dwarves. But, of course, some people have opinions on that. Personally, I think talent should be the #1 priority. If they nail the role, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, Essiedu is a phenomenal actor, and if he nails the role, most of the criticism will likely fade over time. Just like it did with other controversial castings such as Heath Ledger's Joker or Daniel Craig as Bond. HBO seems to be sticking to the canonical ages of the characters, meaning Snape will actually be 31 years old like in the books. So, casting a 30-something actor like Essiedu makes sense. But let's be real. Alan Rickman was 55 when he played Snape, so this will be a big shift in how we see the character. If you don't know Essiedu, he's an Emmy nominee, and he absolutely killed it in I May Destroy You. He's got the intensity, he's got the talent. But does he have that Snape energy? That's the big question. The real test will be how he portrays Snape's depth, sarcasm, and tragic backstory, because that's what makes the character legendary. But let me know what y'all think. Janet McTeer as McGonagall. Next, we have Janet McTeer in negotiations to play Professor Minerva McGonagall. Yeah, the legendary Gryffindor head herself. Now, for those who don't know McTeer, she's got a stacked resume. Oscar and Emmy noms, plus a Tony and Olivier Award win. That's some serious acting power. Now, what's interesting here is that McTeer is almost the same age as Maggie Smith was when she first took on the role in the movies. So, age-wise, it's a solid pick. While no one will ever be exactly Maggie Smith, McTeer has the sharp features, piercing gaze, and regal bearing that fit McGonagall's character. Give her the signature square glasses and green robes, and she'll definitely embody the role. McGonagall isn't just a teacher, she's deputy headmistress, meaning she has to stand alongside and sometimes challenge Dumbledore. McTeer has a history of playing strong, intelligent women who can hold their own in powerful conversations. Overall, McTeer seems like a natural evolution for the role. Someone who can honor Maggie Smith's legacy, but also bring her own unique touch to the character. But how do y'all feel about her compared to the OG McGonagall? Drop your thoughts in the comments. John Lithgow as Dumbledore. Now let's talk Dumbledore, because this casting got people talking when it dropped earlier. John Lithgow, yes, that John Lithgow, has been cast as Professor Albus Dumbledore. Lithgow's a fantastic actor. He's got Emmys, Tonys, Golden Globes, you name it. But is he Dumbledore? That's the real debate. We're so used to Richard Harris and Michael Gambon, but hey, maybe Lithgow will bring a fresh take. At first, some fans were skeptical, but honestly, Lithgow has everything needed to be a fantastic Dumbledore. He's got the acting chops, the presence, the voice, and the charm to bring a new but respectful take on the role. Dumbledore isn't just some old wizard. He's the most powerful one in the story, a mentor, a leader, and a bit of a trickster. Lithgow has played plenty of authoritative roles before, like Winston Churchill in The Crown. so we know he can deliver that commanding yet approachable presence. Dumbledore has a certain Shakespearean grandeur, and Lithgow is no stranger to the stage. He's done Broadway, Shakespearean plays, and dramatic roles that require that larger-than-life presence. He can make even the most complex philosophical lines sound natural and profound. What do y'all think? Good choice or total miscast? Sound off below. What about Harry, Hermione, and Ron? Now, the big question. Who's playing the trio? We don't have official names yet, but get this. 32,000 kids auditioned for the roles of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. That's insane. HBO is taking their time to get this right, and honestly, they kinda have to. Whoever lands these roles is going to be compared to Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint for years. But hey, fresh faces could mean fresh takes, so let's see what happens. Peter Capaldi as Ollivander. Now this one just makes sense. Peter Capaldi, aka Doctor Who himself, is rumored to play Garrick Ollivander, the mysterious wand maker. And honestly, I love it. John Hurt's version was iconic, but let's be real, we didn't get nearly enough of him in the movies. Ollivander in the books? The dude is obsessed with wands, like full-blown mad scientist mode. Plus, he spends a good chunk of the later story as Voldemort's prisoner. Capaldi has that intense, slightly unhinged energy that could make Ollivander even creepier. What do you think? Is Capaldi the perfect fit, or do you have another pick? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Aunt Petunia. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, yes, Fleabag herself, has reportedly been offered the role of Aunt Petunia. And honestly, I love it. The movies made Petunia seem like just a mean lady, but in the books, she's way more complicated. She was jealous of Lily, she wanted to be part of the wizarding world, and then spent her whole life pretending she didn't care. If HBO is serious about making these characters deeper, Waller-Bridge could totally crush this role. But what do you think? Would she be a great Aunt Petunia, or do you have another pick? Brett Goldstein as Hagrid. Now this one's a shocker. Brett Goldstein, aka Roy Kent from Ted Lasso, is rumored to be playing Hagrid. In terms of personality, it kinda makes sense. Hagrid is tough, gruff, but has a huge heart underneath it all. But physically, that's a different story. Hagrid is a half-giant, a towering presence, so what does this mean? Is HBO shifting the focus away from Hagrid's size and more toward his personality? Or are they going full CGI to make him appear larger? Would you be on board with that? Or does Hagrid need to be physically imposing? Tom Felton as Lucius Malfoy. This might be the wildest rumor yet. Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy in the original films, is apparently interested in playing Lucius Malfoy this time around. Just take a second to process that. Draco spent his whole life in his father's shadow. And now, Felton might actually become Lucius? That would be an insane full-circle moment. It would also add a weird, almost meta layer to the new series. Fans watching Draco's former actor now playing the father figure he once rebelled against. Would HBO actually go for it? No clue. But just imagine the moment he steps on screen as Lucius, cane in hand, hair slicked back. Would it be genius or too much of a callback? Let's hear it. Ben Barnes as Sirius Black. This is one of those fan-favorite castings that just makes sense. Ben Barnes, who you probably know from the Chronicles of Narnia or Shadow and Bone, has been rumored for years to play Sirius Black. And honestly, he'd be perfect. He's got the charm, the reckless energy, and the tragic undertones that define Sirius. Plus, at this point, he's the right age to play the character as he's described in the books. If this casting actually happens, it might be one of the best choices HBO makes. But what do you think? Would Barnes nail it, or is there someone better suited for the role? Let's debate. Cillian Murphy as Voldemort, or Quirrell? All right, now things get really interesting. Cillian Murphy, aka the guy who crushed it in Oppenheimer and Peaky Blinders, is rumored for Voldemort. And if that's true, absolute madness. Murphy oozes intensity. He's got that eerie calm, that unsettling presence that could make Voldemort truly terrifying. But here's the twist. Some sources are now claiming HBO wants him for Quirrell instead. Yeah, you heard that right. At first, that might seem like a downgrade, but think about it. What if they actually develop Quirrell as a more complex, sinister character? What if instead of a nervous wreck, he's a man who actively chooses to follow Voldemort? That could make him way more chilling. So what's the better move? Murphy as Voldemort, Quirrell, or neither? Let me know where you stand. Jessica Hines as Molly Weasley. Finally, we've got Jessica Hines rumored as Molly Weasley. And this is a big role. Molly isn't just Ron's mom. She's basically Harry's mom too. She's fierce, protective, and gives us that legendary line. Julie Walters was iconic in the role, so whoever takes over has to bring warmth, humor, and toughness all at once. Would you be happy with Jessica Hines? Or do you have another pick? Production updates. Okay, let's talk about where the show actually stands right now. First off, bad news if you were hoping for a 2026 release. It's officially been pushed back to 2027. But HBO says it's because they want to get it right, so let's hope that's true. Filming is set to start in mid-2025, and the writers are already working. And get this, Mark Mylod, the guy behind Succession, is on board as a producer and director. That's a huge deal. As for casting, they're hiring department heads and finalizing the actors. The biggest challenge? Making sure the young actors for Harry, Ron, and Hermione don't age too quickly between seasons. HBO knows they need to plan filming carefully to avoid those awkward growth spurts. And yes, J.K. Rowling is involved. Like it or not, she's an executive producer, and HBO has made it clear they're working closely with her to stay true to the books. Final thoughts. So what do we think? Are these castings a win or a flop? Is Janet McTeer a solid McGonagall? Is Paapa Essiedu gonna own the role of Snape? And can John Lithgow pull off Dumbledore? I want to hear from y'all, so drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get the debate going. And hey, if you had fun breaking down these casting rumors with me, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future updates. We got a long road ahead before this show hits our screens, and you know I'll be keeping y'all posted every step of the way. Until next time, stay magical, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.